Well, it depends exactly what I'm doing. For something like sitting down and filming a video, you guys only need to see the top half of me. So it usually takes me like 40 minutes just to do my hair and makeup and make sure my background looks good and hype myself up. But when I'm on tour or something like that, oh my gosh, it can take me up to 2 hours. Like I remember when I was on tour earlier this year with Amplify, sometimes it was taking me 3 hours to get into all my get up and my stockings and my heels and make sure everything was on point for when I was on stage. So usually between 40 minutes and 3 hours. Hosting for me this year was a total step up that I personally wasn't prepared for, but I think that I smashed it considering everything that was going on behind the scenes. I know that a lot of people who come to the shows don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I think the hardest challenge for me was actually not myself. It was that I had to depend on other people. When you are a YouTuber and you do this sort of stuff as a career, you are in control of everything that you do. You produce your own videos, you come up with your ideas. Everything that I do myself. And then hosting this show, I had to make sure that not only I was, doing the right thing, that everyone else was. So there were some times where there was other talent that weren't ready to go on stage and they weren't side stage, and I just had to sort of run the show on stage and just make up things off the top of my head because this other talent was nowhere to be found. And, I got to the third or fourth show and I would personally go to this person or these people, because there was more than one, and I would say, look, you're going to make my life a lot easier if you are side stage in 5 minutes, because you need to be, because you're going to go on stage. And for some reason still they'd be going to the bathroom or they'd forget or something like that. So I feel like the hardest part for me was just trying to make sure everyone was in their place so that the show could run smoothly. I have actually thought about this a lot, and I would love to do my own tour around Australia. I don't know, maybe it could happen soon, I'm not really sure, but I would definitely have different elements to the show and make it sort of like a story. And I got that idea. I know we've spoken about Lady Gaga a lot in this interview, but the first tour that I went to, the Monster Ball of Lady Gaga, it was sort of like a story similar to The Wizard of Oz, and she sort of was taking you through her version of the Yellow Brick Road, and there were lions and tigers and bears, but there were different things. And like, I feel like I would have the show made into like some sort of a storyline, and I'd have like a big opening number, because everyone knows, if you've been to one of the shows, I love a big opening number. And then I'd incorporate like my characters into it. So Sandra would have her own segment, and then I'd probably just throw in a Q&A there somewhere, but not just have it like, oh, I'm going to do a Q&A now. Like have some sort of segue into why I would need the audience to ask me questions and things like that, and think of a really creative way, which I have actually thought of, but I'll be keeping that to myself for a while. You know what's funny is I was thinking about this the other day, because I have the worst memory in the entire world. Like, ask me to remember something that happened last week. I'm really bad in like conflicts with friends and stuff. Like if, me and my friends have an argument and they're like, you said this, and I'm like, did I? I don't even remember this conversation at all. I have the worst memory. But one thing that I always remember is my meet and greets and people who have met me. And I remember, especially in Melbourne, because I've been to Melbourne a couple of times and I've done a couple of meet and greets, is I pretty much remembered everyone that I had met before in Melbourne, and people were really surprised. And then something happened to me recently that I think I figured out that when something makes me so incredibly happy, I don't forget it. And I think that in meet and greets are the best part of doing what I do, and they just make me so happy. So I think that that's why I remember pretty much everyone. I don't think I've ever forgotten anyone, and if I have, it's been like they've said, oh, I met you here, and I was like, oh my god, of course I remember you. But most of the time I do remember every face. Well, I want to sort of start off by saying that weight loss is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, it is in no way easy. Yes, you can do things to make it that little bit easier, but oh my goodness, it is the hardest journey I have ever been through, but also the most rewarding. I think that the things that kept it easy, if we want to go with the term easy for me, is one, like seeing results and seeing the way that my body was changing. And I remember there'd be times where I'd like get out of the shower and I'd look at my arm and I'd be like, oh my God, my arm is so skinny. And like, you know, that's a really good feeling and you want to see that at other places. So, you know, that sort of made it easier. Seeing results made it easier to want to stay on track. The other thing is, like, if I did fall off track, it wasn't like I'll start next Monday. It was like I'll start tomorrow. And if it was a Wednesday and I, you know, had a mental breakdown and wanted to eat bad food and had a bit of a binge, then that was fine. But I wouldn't like make it go any further. I would make it start again Thursday and get back on track the very next day. You don't really need to say to yourself like, I'll start next week, because like if you want to make a change, start as soon as possible. Do you know what I mean? And so there wasn't many things that made it easy, because to be honest, it's hard work and discipline and all the rest of it. So it's very challenging, but I think what made it easy was seeing results and just not giving up and just going, you know what, let's just start again tomorrow and forget about what we did today and just get back on track.